It's Mike Yao here, GM Mikey. I haven't done a video in quite a while, so I thought I would do one because some things need to be updated. As you may or may not know, we are kickstarting the Savage Kingdoms third edition core rulebook. We're calling it third edition. It's really a second edition, but we're calling it a third because we did have a reforged edition. So to avoid confusion, that's why we're calling it Savage Kingdoms 3. Besides, it sounds cool. So yeah, here's the flyers, by the way. Yeah. So posters, whatever, flyers. They're really more like posters. They're kind of a little bit thicker stock, but we've ordered a few of those. I put them around some of the local gaming stores here in Western North Carolina, which is where we are based. But that doesn't really matter because this hopefully will be a national, international campaign. This is the 5th Kickstarter that I've done with my Savage Kingdoms line. We've been successful before, and hoping this will happen again. Now, the last one just kind of barely made it, so hopefully we'll get some momentum going, which is why we're doing this Kickstarter pre-campaign. So I've kind of learned over the years and have been advised by several people to that your pre-campaign is really kind of where it starts, so you can get that momentum going. Instead of a 30-day Kickstarter, we're probably going to do a 45-day or 40-day. Actually, I think I'm doing a 40-day. That way it covers net 30s, people that are only paid every 30 days. So hopefully that's a good strategy. We've done 30 days in the past. Again, we're successful, but we're going to try this 40-day thing and see what happens. So we launch May 15th. You might ask when. That is when. May 15th, or March 15th. Sorry, correction. March 15th, the Ides of March. Beware the Ides of March. I thought that was kind of appropriate. That is a Sunday, I believe. And then we will go through April 25th in that case, if we do the 40-day, which we probably will. So look for it. So look for a kick. Make sure to pledge your support, like the little flyer says there. We'll have flyers and notices and stuff on social media, social media, Facebook, and we have a website coming. Actually, it's pretty much done. I've got it done. I just need to publish it and put it online. It might actually already be. I'm not sure. I don't think so. I think I have to do one last thing. So yeah, that's coming soon. Website. Another one. We were using a Wix website for several years, but I just never really updated it. A website building, web design has gotten a little more mainstream, where some commoner like me can actually do it. So decided to rebuild it in this new venue that I'm using, or new platform. So yeah, so exciting things. So the Kickstarter starts again the Ides of March, March 15th. It'll run through April 25th. We've got some good pre-buzz going, at least locally. Again, it's a very small game. It's an indie game. It's Savage Kingdoms, not Savage Worlds. We're definitely not on that high of a scale. But the reason I'm doing a third edition already after just 6 years, I mean, the first edition came out in 2014, is because it is, even though it has a small following, it's a very loyal following. And that's why I continue to develop this game line. I feel like third edition is even better. Very excited. So things have been tweaked and streamlined, and over years of playtesting and feedback, it's really produced a game I'm really proud of. I was proud of the first editions, but I'm really looking forward to the third edition. The math is simpler. It's easier to GM, to game master. It's not as daunting, but yet all the robustness is still there. You can build pretty much whatever character you want within the context of the setting. But now we have a new calling system, which is nice. It's kind of like classes. It's not a class-based system. I don't really like character classes. But for players that are used to character classes, we now have something called callings. There are 20 callings in the game. We used to call them life paths, but calling fits better because it's kind of what you're called to do, but you don't have to stay in that calling. Whereas a class kind of keeps you locked in to whatever it was you were trying to do. So you could be a berserker as a calling. You could have a hunter as a calling, seer, sage, sorcerer, priest, shaman, there's so many soldier. There's so many different ones. There's 20, like I said. So those will to select a following, you'll gain the benefits of starting with certain skills that are already given to you. Although it does take from your allotment of skill points at the beginning, so it all balances out. It also gives you some more favored talents, sort of like your race or culture did. So that's nice. Those are not familiar with that terminology, but a favored talent means that you pay 1 point less for that particular talent. There's a few races and cultures that get like 2 points off of a talent, or even get one for free as part of a racial ability. But 9% of the time, a favorite talent saves you a single talent point. So if you might ask, if you have a race and class and calling that give you that's favored for a talent that are both favored, then yes, you would actually save 2 points. It says in the rule book that you can't reduce a talent by any more than 2 points. So that's kind of how we control that, but also kind of how you can look at stacking those things together. So character building is even more interesting if you choose a certain race or class, a certain calling, to where you can really save talent points on some of those favorite talents, and that's the way to do it. If you're building, your character concept building is more perhaps more narrative, and you don't really care about the stacking and the min-maxing quite as much, which is great because I'm actually more of a story guy myself, then you can still do that. In fact, you can not even have a calling. You can still build a character in the old way of Savage Kingdoms, and that was literally just choosing pretty much any talent. Your race and culture is the only thing that sort of gives you favored talents and such. So there's a pretty cardinal out there staring at me. Anyway, right. So I'm distracted by cardinals. So yeah, that's a quick update. Again, Ides of March, March 15th is a Kickstarter. That is less than 45 days away. We're just trying to pre-launch this whole thing and get the buzz going. Please tell your friends that this is happening. I'm already searching for artists and graphic designers to try to get this thing going and looking really well. The last two editions, I'm extremely proud of the work that the artists and the graphic designers did for me. Really great product, but I'm going to try to even one up that. I mean, that's just how progression works, is that you just have to keep one-upping yourself on what you did. So hopefully we'll raise the money. Those of you have asked what the Kickstarter, I'm looking at, and again, you never know, like, it's like, this is probably low, but I want to make sure we get it. So I'm probably going to be looking for $9,000. I thought about 10, like that's an even thing, but then I'm like, I don't know, because we barely made 7,600 last time. Now it wasn't quite as advertised as well, so anyway, I feel like 9,000 is fine. And the good thing about Kickstarter is that you can keep going, you can do stretch goals. So I'll probably do the 9,000 and have stretch goals at 12,000, 15,000, 18,000. I mean, that would be amazing that I have to worry about those totals. So yeah, so if we happen to break it that high, then we'll have stretch goals to give people extra benefits for giving more than we've already raised. So anyway, most of you guys probably know how Kickstarter works. So again, Ides of March, March 15th through April 25th, that'll be the Kickstarter. There's the flyer, there's the logo, still using the same logo, it looks like, designed by Mike Maurer. I really like it. There was a point where I thought about redoing the logo, possibly even renaming the game, because of Savage Worlds and Savage Kingdoms, people get confused, but I think that would be kind of a step backwards. That would be a little silly marketing-wise, because there is a tiny following, but it's a pretty loyal following. And the word savage is really kind of cool. The original concept of the game being that it was a little more Conan-esque. It was kind of sword and sorcery feel. It's not quite really that as much anymore, as some of you may know. There's definitely those elements. It's still very gritty, but it's not quite the pure sword and sorcery. It's really interesting how the setting has sort of morphed. It's really cool. Like I really like the way it's turned out. It's actually sword and sorcery based, but now it's got some elements of high fantasy without being too ridiculous, because I'm not a huge fan of super high fantasy. But anyway, it's morphed into something really nice. So yeah, I'll stop rambling. It's been 10 minutes, which is perfect. It's kind of what I was wanting. Just to keep you all updated. So Kickstarter's happening soon for Savage Kingdoms core rulebook, 3rd edition. If that happens, we'll have the Savage East expansion setting book that'll expand in the eastern and southern parts of the planet or the world. The continents of Imanju and Hassan, and the Isle continent of Mezca, and the polar continent of Ragnagard, although some of that might be included in the core rulebook. Spoilers! All right, so keep all that in mind, guys. Thanks for listening to this video, and we will talk to you again soon. Thanks.